Now, angry residents of Ketu South Municipality are today demonstrating against the operations of Seven Seas Company, an Indian salt mining company located in Adina and the Volta region. The residents want government to halt the activities of the company immediately, especially beyond Adina, where they have given permit to operate. A middle-aged woman and her 3 children lost their lives a week ago due to the according to dikes allegedly owned by the company. 6 people have so far died in 2022 as a result of the company's unsafe operations. Here are sights and sounds of this morning's demonstration. Some of the demonstrators have been speaking with JoyNews.
Government should be conscious of what is happening. Our people are dying. So we are calling on all those who matter in this case, that the lives of the people of Ketu South matter. They should come out and stop the mayhem that is being perpetrated in our lands. The citizens are dying. The activities of the services is destroying the livelihood of the people. So we are calling on them.
Now let's take you live to Ketu South, where my colleague Ivy Setoji joins us with some update. Ivy, what's the status of the demonstration?
Hello?
Hi, Ivy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good. So I'm asking, what is the status of this demonstration?
Currently, the residents, the angry residents, I must say, are currently gathered at the forecourt of the Ketu South Municipal Assembly, where they are to present the petition to the president through the MCE for Ketu South, Macro Lugudo. Currently, one of the leaders is reading the petition to be presented. So there is actually a huge crowd at the forecourt of the assembly. So we have to get out from there so we can hear our viewers and then listeners can hear us very well. So currently, the assembly is crowded with angry residents of Ketu South, asking government to, as a matter of urgency, halt the activities of the Seven Seas salt company located in Adina. According to them, their operations only permitted them to be at Adina and not in any other place in the Ketu South. But currently, they are in some places like the Toko, the New, even some in Aflao. So they want government to make sure that they are regulated and so they do the right thing. Also, some of the pits they have dug some time ago also resulted in the death of a pregnant woman. We were told the woman was actually pregnant. We were told this morning, a pregnant woman and her 3 children, making the man now a widower. So, and then 2 other people died earlier, making it 6, according to them. So they want government to regulate the activities of the Seven Seas salt company.
Now, you talk about the death of the woman and her 3 children. Tell us, what actually happened?
We were told that the woman and her children and the husband as well went fishing expedition, which they normally do according to the residents. It is something they do some weekends as an activity. So they went there, the woman went fishing, and then one of the pits that was there, and then unfortunately the woman and her 3 children, aged 8 years, 10 years, and 14 years respectively, drowned into it, and then that was how they lost their lives. So fortunately, the man survived, and so he is currently around. But we also have one of the leaders of the demonstrators, Sanko Akusa, to speak to us. So tell us more about this demonstration.
Yeah, Ivy, thank you. I think that this is long overdue. The simple thing we are asking government to do for us is that we believe that 7 Seas Company Limited is licensed to operate only in the Adina community. They don't have the license to move into other electoral areas like Sejuanao, Denu, Akam, and Adafienu, Pajakope, etc. They don't have the license. We have written to the EPA, we have written to the Minerals Commission seeking clarifications on their license and their license status. They wrote back to us telling us they have not licensed them to operate in those areas. They were only licensed to operate in Adina area. So what we are believing is that because the people came to Adina and they realized that there were other wetlands available, they started collaborating with people, indigenous people, including our chiefs, opinion leaders, etc. And they are releasing these lands to them without government's approval, without the approval of the Minerals Commission.
Do you have evidence?
We have evidence to that. We have evidence to that because we have evidence of chiefs being paid huge sums of money. So we believe that Ghana is governed by laws, and any time a wetland is going to be released to anybody, it should be through the Minerals Commission, and they should do an environmental assessment impact report, which will be submitted to the EPA before they can start their operation. So they come into our wetlands without approval, without authorization, and they taking pits, huge pits, people, and fishing is our.
How sure are you that they don't have permit from the assembly as well?
We have written, you see, by the rules of Ghana, anytime a company enters into the municipality or a district, they are supposed to deposit their documents with the municipal assembly or the district assembly. We have written to the assembly, the municipal chief executive, to produce documents of this company. They have not done that. So over months now, it's over 6 months, almost a year. We started this fight in 2021. So we have come to believe, so that was the reason why we wrote to EPA and the Minerals Commission. And they wrote back to us telling us that they permitted this company to only operate in Adina. They were not permitted to work in any other area except Adina.
So exactly what you want?
We want government to first of all halt the activities of 7 Seas so that we can enter or we can delve into the illegalities of this company. They should halt the activities first before we deal with the deaths that have occurred, especially the recent one, which included a pregnant woman and 3 of her kids. So government should, as a matter of urgency, through the municipal assembly, write to this company to stop their activities and stop their expansion with immediate effect. Because if this is not done, it means that government is smiling on an illegality, and we, the citizens, will not sit down for our lands to be taken away from us and our livelihood taken away from us. So we do not want to take the laws into our own hands. We have written letters and we are demonstrating today. The next move we are going to do, we are keeping it close to our chest.
You don't want to withdraw?
Yes, we are keeping it close to our chest. But we expect government to respond.
Any timeline?
From tomorrow, we are demonstrating today and sending a petition to the president through the municipal chief executive. So we are expecting that within a matter of 2 weeks, we are supposed to hear something from the president through the municipal assembly. Not a letter, but an action. So if no action is taken, it simply means that government is irresponsive to our demands, and government wants an Indian company to come occupy our lands without authorization, without recourse to the rules and regulations, the laws of this country. That's all we are saying. The activities of this company should halt immediately while government looks into the license of this company.
Right, so that is one of the leaders of the demonstrators, Sanko Akusa, talking to us on their demands from government.
Ivy, do we know if the company has taken any action in the wake of the death?
Well, we spoke to the PRO yesterday on phone. He said they have marked some signposts along the lagoons to warn residents of impending danger. So that was what they told us on phone, actually. We are yet to get to the company to see what they will say to us.
All right. So from the district assembly, do you know where else the demonstrators will take the action to?
From the district assembly, they will move to Nakleviko, where the woman and her children were drowned, and then back to Denu, where they will have meetings and then get back to their respective destinations.
Thank you very much. That's my colleague Ivy Setoji there. Now to Kumasi, where Love News has uncovered an ongoing degradation of the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve at Samraboy in the Western region, despite the Lands Ministry's declaration that no license has been issued for minerals prospecting in any forest reserve across the country. A release issued by the Minerals Commission in August this year and signed by its CEO, Martin Ayisi, indicated that an application by Akunta Mining Limited for an entry permit into the reserve was yet to be considered. But Love News can confirm large portions of the reserve, estimated at about 12 football fields, have already been destroyed by mining linked to Akunta Mining Limited. The expose on the current destruction of the Tano Nimre and Apamprama forest reserves are part of a documentary by Erastus Asaridonko. Here are excerpts of Destruction for Gold.
On August 17th this year, the Minerals Commission in a press release stated that the Lands Minister has not issued any license for minerals prospecting in any forest reserve. The release, signed by Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Martin Ayisi, referred to a letter by Akunta Mining Limited dated August 8, 2022, which was an application for an entry permit to enter the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve at Samraboy in the Western region. The release said the application must be processed, quote, subject to the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Directive on Mining in Forest Reserve. But even before the Lands Ministry would indicate publicly its position on the application, our checks indicate active mining in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. A visit to the forest revealed large portions of the reserve already mined and degraded. This drone footage, taken few days ago, shows active mining linked to Akunta Mining Limited under the protection of armed personnel. The forest reserve is being destroyed with impunity, even at the time of airing this report.
We are here at this thing, Tontokrom. The hot duties, and there are some policemen and media be here.
Despite Love News' expose on military personnel protecting miners in the Odaho section of the Apamprama Forest Reserve, security personnel are still providing protection for miners who are pillaging the reserve currently, as corroborated by the Mentiahene of Bekwai, Nana Kusi Frimpong Kotobre.
My district is Amansett Central. That is where I have my cocoa farm. In that area, there's a forest called Kobo Forest. The forest is guarded by soldiers as people mine inside the forest. I had a confrontation with the soldiers. They said they are on duty. What kind of duty is being held in the forest? Ministers and people in government are the ones protecting them. Because I can't hire military men, if I could, I would ask them to accompany me to the farm to weed.
Very shocking footages there. My colleague Erastus Asaridonko, the producer of the documentary, joins me live on Zoom for more on this particular project. Erastus, thanks for joining. We know that the current policy is that forest reserves are no-go areas. What did you find at the forest reserves that you worked on? All right, so we'll get to my colleague Erastus so that we can deal with this. Meanwhile, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says they have begun reclaiming land that have been affected by illegal mining in 5 regions in Ghana. according to the coordinator of the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program for Illegal Miners, Dr. Louise Carol Sewa Donko. They have so far raised 20 million seedlings to that effect, and their contractors are currently working on various sites to get those lands into states that will be able to support plant life. She was speaking exclusively to JoyNews after a strategic interaction between the media and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources on measures to eradicate the menace of illegal mining in Ghana.
Our focus is on land reclamation and reforestation or revegetation. So there are about 1,000 hectares of lands that we are reclaiming. See, when it comes to reclaiming lands, our focus is on how we get our water bodies clean. So the portions or the parts that we have focused to reclaim is really about, water beds or, where water have their sources. So you go to Eastern region, we've gone to Obuako South, we've gone to Inswayim, in the Ashanti region, we've gone to Western North, So we are working in 5 mining regions, and we've picked districts in all these regions where the issue is quite endemic to be able to bring the intervention to them. So our focus now is on land reclamation and vegetation. We actually raised 20 million seedlings for Green Ghana Day. Part of it, went into securing our water beds. Some of it, went into revegetating, destroyed forests and reserves and vegetation.
So if I go to the field now, what would I see you doing in all of the places you've mentioned?
Well, you see us raising seedlings, and then you see us reclaiming lands. Now our landscape study is underway to be able to understand the galamseys better. What is very important is that we need to listen to the people that we're trying to get interventions for. Yes, we have ideas about what we want to do, but we need to be able to also understand. I think one thing that runs through the places that we're reclaiming, if you go to Obuako South, for instance, and then Bosome Freho, they are mountainous regions, and we all know that mining anywhere near a river or a water body or a source to a water body is a no-go area, and that's where our focus is, and that's where when you go, you'll find our contractors working to re-engineer the land and bring it back to a state that can support vegetation and redirect our water bodies.
Now to other stories, and public health actors have been mourning the lack of funds to fight and promote issues of environmental health in the country. According to them, the absence of a centralized ministry responsible for public health makes it difficult to access funds. Before we bring you details of the story, let's return to Kumasi and speak to my colleague Erastus Donko, who has worked on destruction for gold. Erastus, we understand that the current policy is that forest reserves are no-go areas for mining purposes. What did you find in these forests that you worked on?
Well, the link went away briefly. If you could repeat your question.
Okay, so I'm trying to find out from you what you found when you went to these forests.
Okay, so we know that the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve in the western region is out of bounds per our current dispensation that is not open to mining. In fact, all forest reserves, according to government's directive. When this issue came up recently, there was a release by the Minerals Commission, in fact, indicating that the minister has not given any license to anybody to mine in that forest. Now, when we went into the reserve, we realized that already the forest has been degraded to a large extent. In fact, we could, when we flew our drone, we could just see devastation of up to about 12 football fields and beyond, devastated and still counting. And even as we speak, we have more Chinese miners joining the degradation as we speak. And when you go in there, you see that the place is fortified with armed personnel, armed to the teeth. And in fact, we had to put in a lot of strategies to be able to enter and to be able to film what you're seeing on your screens right now. And so the forest is being degraded, it's a reserve, it's being degraded. We found signs that indicate that the destruction is linked to Akonta mining, which is owned by Chairman Untumi, who is the current chairman of the NPP in Ashanti region. And the degradation is still ongoing as we speak.
Very shocking footages there. But you went in with officers. What happened? Were they sacked from their place? You say that they are still mining as we speak. Why that?
Well, we did not go in there with officers. We went on our own, my camera team and I. We visited quite a number of places, and this was for our documentary, Destruction for Gold, which is coming up shortly. Next week, it will be aired. And so we're trying to gauge the devastation of illegal mining, even when government has instituted Operation Halt and other measures to try to curb it. We're trying to gauge the destruction on the ground. And this was part of our tour of the entire country in areas affected by illegal mining. And we were quite particular about Nimri Forest, Tano Nimri Forest, because it came out and the minister denied it, that it has not granted Akonta mining permit, entry permit into the forest. And it was part of the release that was given out by the Minerals Commission. And so we wanted to check that, okay, if the government says it has not granted entry permit into that forest reserve, what is happening there? And to our shock and dismay, in fact, even as the minister, even before the minister could grant that entry permit, the forest has been eaten, and it continues to be eaten even until today. As we speak, there are miners in there actively, busily destroying the forest with impunity.
So these military men we see in the footages, what's their role there?
Well, the ones you see in the footages was from our earlier visit to Apamprama Forest Reserve, which is in the Manso area, Amansia Central. And if you realize that it came up at that time that over 30 fully armed military personnel were protecting the miner in the forest, and they were pillaging the forest. And even with that one, when the military said it was going to investigate, until now, we've not gotten to know the results of that investigation. But I can confirm to you that there are military men or men dressed in military clothes, armed to the teeth, in the same forest, pillaging it as we speak.
Interesting. What should we expect in the full documentary when it's aired?
In fact, a lot of revelations on the ground. We wanted to gauge the mood on the ground. Is government intervention in fighting illegal mining, is it working? How polluted our rivers, how devastated our lands. So you'll be seeing more of these devastations. You'll also be hearing from people who are directly affected by illegal mining.
Okay, all right. Erastus, thank you very much. That's my colleague Erastus there. He produced the documentary Destruction for Gold. Now, public health actors have been mourning the lack of funds to fight and promote issues of environmental health in the country. According to them, the absence of a centralized ministry responsible for public health makes it difficult to access funds. A situation they say is suffocating the aim to make Accra clean. They are calling for the passage of the National Health Sanitation Bill, which, among other things, is expected to harmonize activities of public health actors in the country. Michael Ashley has more in the following report.
World Environmental Day is celebrated on 26th of September every year to put the spotlight on the crucial work done by environmental health workers. This year, the day was celebrated under the theme Strengthening Environmental Health Systems for the Implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. Public health activities in Ghana are split among 3 ministries and largely uncoordinated. According to Environmental Health Metro Director for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Florence Kuchi, the situation is making it difficult to properly deal with the worsening sanitation problem in Accra.
We are supposed to be under local government ministry. That is our mother ministry. But as it stands now, we do not even have a desk there to say that this desk is for environmental health workers, that there will be a supervisory head there who will champion environmental health issues at the departmental, ministerial or interagency collaboration aspect. So this has been a very big issue. This gap is really having a big pinch on the environmental health officer when it comes to how we implement our duties in the country. So Ministry of Local Government doesn't do any budgeting for us, nor does Ministry of Sanitation does any budgeting for us. When you go to Ministry of Sanitation, the head is there without a body. Then you come to local government, the body is there without a head. How can only body work without a head, nor a head work without the body? So as time is going on, if care is not taken, the name environmental health is going to phase out. And if it is phased out, it's going to have a very big havoc to the country and the people as a whole.
Without a supervisory agency, the aim to make Accra the cleanest city in the sub-region will remain on paper. Director of Waste Management at the AMA, Ninoy Norte, explains why.
On this day, we are re-emphasizing. Now we are torn between three ministries and we become orphans. They are supposed to carry our budgets along and then budget for our logistical needs and retooling to be able to perform efficiently. Then comes the sanitation ministry also. Yes, they are in charge of sanitation. Then MESTI will also come and say, yes, we are also in charge of electronic waste management and then plastic waste management. So now you see the three mothers, so to speak. When we need logistics, like vehicles, as it is raining and you need to go undercover and grab those who are dumping the waste in the drains. You can't walk in the rain.
Lecturer at the Accra School of Hygiene, Michael Afodope, is asking Parliament to pass the National Health Sanitation Bill. According to him, the bill, if passed, will resolve issues of supervision and greatly sharpen the focus to deal with sanitation.
I was calling for us to all join our voice together on the advocacy for us to create the National Sanitation Authority as a matter of urgency, because when that authority is actually created or that bill is passed into an act, it will help to centralize the National Sanitation Authority bill. When it is passed into an act, it will help to centralize all environmental health activities.
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has charged critics of government to spend time to read and ask the relevant questions before criticizing various projects it's undertaking. According to him, many of government's political opponents cast doubt on the viability of the Sino Hydro project when government initiated the move. Addressing the chiefs and people of Cape Coast at the commissioning of the Cape Coast Inner City Road, Dr. Bawumia indicated government means well and will continue with the TL road to bring relief to the people of Ghana.
A total of 22 kilometers of roads, according to government, have been completed as part of the Sino Hydro project. According to the Vice President, the roads that were selected in Cape Coast were in poor conditions when they were chosen, while many of them were unmotorable during the rainy season. Dr. Bawumia says government could not have chosen a better investment in the lives of the people than this. He called on critics of government to read and seek understanding of government activities before they criticize.
Today marks yet another day of the commissioning of yet another Sino Hydro project, Feely. Unfortunately for some of our opponents, when we say something and they don't understand, instead of asking for an explanation and also reading about it, they don't like to read. They don't want to ask for explanation. They just say, you are lying. But today, as we commissioned the road, they are silent. They are no longer saying it's not possible. A total of 441 kilometers of roads and 2 interchanges are to be constructed. The objectives of the projects are to enhance intra-urban, regional, and national traffic flow, trade, and strengthen regional economic integration. I was privileged to perform the sword cutting for this important project on 21st November 2019. The commencement of the project was on 20th December 2019 for completion in 30 months. The project was duly completed on schedule. Nananum, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we can see, the completion of the project has improved accessibility within the beneficiary communities in Cape Coast.
Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoakwanta, indicated that part of the budget of the urban roads would be set aside to maintain the investment of roads government had done. He says the Ministry of Roads and Highways strategy is to increase the percentage of roads in good condition by undertaking various periodic maintenance activities.
The Department of Urban Roads shall make adequate provisions in its annual budgets from now onwards for the maintenance of these roads yet to be commissioned. Ladies and gentlemen, this is necessary to protect the government's massive investment in this sector and in these roads in particular. I therefore urge the Municipal Assembly to support us in enforcing bylaws aimed at protecting such a valuable public asset.
Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Lu Kun, justified why China would choose Ghana any day to invest in. Some motorists spoke to JoyNews.
For years, China has been actively supporting and constantly provided assistance to Ghana in many ways. Through China's aid, financing, investment, and contracting of projects, we have been building strong ties between the two nations. The China-aided Jamestown Fishing Port project, Phase 2 of the University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ho project, the annex building of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the regional integration are well underway. All these projects are Chinese government-aided projects. All these projects are aimed to promote Ghana's economic and the well-being of Ghanaian people.
Reporting for JoyNews, Richard Kojo, Cape Coast.
Now, spare part businesses are suffering as sales a bit has hit an all-time low in years. Dealers who rely hugely on the dollar to import product are struggling to get it. Others who eventually get the currency are hit by inflation, which affect prices, carrying off customers. The Living Standard series crew were back at Abosokai, where things have moved from bad to worse.
Anybody that knows me in Abosokai here knows these items is last year. Because the dollar is up, I have to increase them small, bit by bit.
Now, they don't have money. So if the person, what I'm saying, is poised, the person might park the car or maybe come for. We have stuff that are not good, like Ghana use.
Is here. Batrakabe. Longs the 200 Fondex. Batrakabe here. 2018. Batrakabe 1,200 for the pair. No?
Cloudy times for Godfred K. Upon, a spare parts dealer at Abosokai. His business has been struggling recently. For the first time in 16 years, he owes his creditors, and they are not making things easy for him. For days, he hasn't recorded any significant sales. As at 10 a.m., no customer has bought any of his brake shafts, and he's worried.
The whole of this year, I've never traveled. I've never buy any items from anybody because I cannot. Anybody that knows me in Abosokan here knows this items is last year. Okay. Because the dollar is up, I have to increase them small, bit by bit. The person who will come and buy my items is saying his market is not moving. So he need it, but he cannot afford it to buy. You understand? So the market is choked. From morning 6 till this time around, I should have at least get like almost 5 customers at a go, but it's almost 10 now, not even each customer.
Godfred K. Opon Enterprises was established 6 years ago after he worked as a salesman for 10 years for another spare parts dealer. The business has been booming until the last quarter of 2021. His goods from last year are still on the shelves. Godfred says he has been forced to cut down on the wages of his employees in order to stay afloat.
I used to pay each 1,200 per month. Because of the condition, I have to break it down for them a weekly. I divided 1,200 Ghana, pay them a week.
Okay, because you can't get that amount at the end of the month.
For the end of the month, for all of them, I cannot. I decided to reduce the amount I used to pay them because I cannot sack them. And I had to sit with them because they know what is going on here. If we do sell, they know. Because most of the time they are here more than me. Okay. So I have to sit with them, talk to them, so that they will understand me, so that I will know how to go with that.
If the city continues to fall against the dollar, which makes the cost of spare parts more expensive, Godfred says he may be forced to lay off some workers or further slash wages. One of his employees, Edward, says the cut in wages is affecting his family.
I realized that this time things is hard, so I want to cut some things not help me. I clear off my way. Maybe when I go home, I'll go out with my friends, go chill. That things, I stop that so that I can get money. So this time the money doesn't flow like first.
Kwame Jack, a car mirror dealer, lost 2 customers before midday because they couldn't afford to buy. But he has little control over the matter. Jack adjusted his prices by over 50% because of the escalating dollar rate. His second-hand mirrors range between 300 to 2,000 cedis for a pair.
Challenges me brand new. Last 3 weeks na me fire. Me wo Korora I wo 3 to 07. Me fire na surprise na me fano. The light in the me fire 200.
Because of the dollar rate, the prices have soared. Corolla mirrors, which used to sell at 200 cedis, is now 300 cedis, and so I have to increase the price to 350 cedis.
If it 300, man, 350. As the first, now I'm finding 200, and I'm the 220, every 230. What they give 230, I 30 Ghana. They say so fit 200, I got 300 account. In teacher said me so me day account. A fit is it 350.
The situation remains the same for Harry, whose family has been dealing in shafts for 25 years. He also blames the rising dollar rate for their bad business.
Now, they don't have money. So if the person, what I'm saying, is spoils, the person might park the car or maybe come for... We have stuff that are not good, like Ghana use. They'll go to other places to get stuff that are not good, you understand? Yeah. So some are coming, but those that they are coming, when you tell them the price, like it has increased, then they will move. Some they will talk, they will drag with you. End of the day, you have to calm down.
Customers too are suffering the brunt of the depreciating cedi. I caught up with an auto electrician who had come to buy a part for a car he was fixing. According to him, the price had doubled from the last time he bought one.
Sometimes I come here to buy alternators, starters, shocks and others. But today, I come to buy Toyota adjuster roller. Initially, it was 40 cedis, but now it's selling at 80 cedis. I tried to negotiate 50 cedis, but he said no.
Well, with fewer customers, some dealers spend their time sleeping or engaging in football discussions.
Yes, so watching News Desk on the JoyNews channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with an update from the world of business. Stay with us.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. To help equip consumers with basic knowledge in IT skills, Slam Technologies has launched an NIMDA app to create awareness of cybersecurity, among other purposes. The app is designed to help the public and also offer lessons in local dialects. Here's more in this report.
With the growth of IT in Africa, there have been calls for developing countries like Ghana to localize features and operations in the ICT world to help the less privileged catch up with modern trends. This is the reason behind the NIMDA app. Speaking to Joy Business after the launch, the Director of Operations for Slam Technologies Worldwide, Mrs. Francisca Boateng, said it is important to empower Ghanaians in IT skills to protect the country from global cybersecurity issues.
So it's not technically financial literacy, but how you can use IT or the digital space securely so that scammers. So we have a lot on cyber bullying, cyber awareness, cyber hygiene, how you can actually make sure that your system is updated, you are using the right kind of passwords to protect yourself, because even if you don't have the financial education and you have the right education in terms of how to protect your system, it will be difficult for a scammer or a cyber or a fraud person just to come into your system and steal from it.
On her part, Technical Advisor, Ministry of Education, Shilana Buama, expressed optimism the app will help empower the poor in rural areas.
The goal looks daunting, but obviously it can be done. And so from the Ministry of Education, we are here to lend our support and goodwill and see you through this very daunting journey. I'm very happy to have heard certain words that I was looking out for. The fact that there is a goal, the fact that there is a desire to measure impact, and the fact that it is going to be targeted at hard to reach areas. These are the things that matter to us. We all know that digital literacy has come to stay and we can't avoid it anymore. Even for some of us born before it came, we are struggling, but it is more challenging and this gap is more difficult and sad for people in hard to reach areas. And so it is a good idea that we are launching in Accra, where all the big and fantastic media houses would spread the news.
Now, a total of 290 women from 16 regions of Ghana have undergone a 6-month training under the Sinapiaba mentorship program. The beneficiaries, mostly from the informal sector, were equipped with skills in vocational, technical, and financial disciplines by the financial institution for free. They are optimistic the training would enhance their business fortunes. Here's more in this report.
Dubbed Women Mentorship Program, the training is meant to empower and support women to acquire modern business knowledge and skills to grow their respective businesses. With facilitation from Sinapiaba Savings and Loans, the women selected their preferred trade for the training, including pastry making, catering, hairdressing, dressmaking, auto electrical, aluminium fabrication, and welding. The program focuses on small and medium-skilled women entrepreneurs in building their capacities to acquire relevant knowledge and skills needed to facilitate investment in their businesses for growth. Chief Programs Officer Joyce Owusu-Dabo says the program seeks to bridge the knowledge technical know-how deficit.
These are graduates who have gone through trainings,
skill set trainings as we use our peer learning approach to help these SME women to acquire the needed skills to help manage their business well. And for this particular batch, we did 290 of them, made up of mentors and mentees. And they walked through a period of 6 months training. Some of the topics that they covered include fraud management, communicating with your customers, records keeping, among others.
The initiative hopes to reduce the high rate of unemployment in the country.
Some of these women have been able to improve on their businesses, to grow and to sustain it. Others have been able to expand their businesses by adding on other areas of businesses. So someone may have like one shop, now they're having 2 or 3. They also have been able to employ more people to engage in their business.
The women selected from the 44 branches of Snapiaba nationwide were adopted into the peer mentorship program, where established businesses and entrepreneurs empowered the upcoming ones. Mentors under the program are Snapiaba clients grounded in the business space, while the mentees are budding entrepreneurs that the company plans to help grow and expand.
Na michani but michana maboka we start we na boa me odo miniska me de de but minyes me kotonwa minyeska enya bi di chefie ngakra kra nya bi ma me mako school miniska me de but me de coach ma minyaso ngakra kra di aboa me.
The program was on the theme mentoring the next generation of great women. For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweko reporting.
And that's business. Sports is coming up next.
So welcome back from the break. Time for us to bring you an update from the world of sports. And Lawrence is already in the house. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Bruce.
I know we are going to play a game today.
Yeah.
At 6 p.m. I'm
6
told.
p.m.
Okay.
We are playing Nicaragua. So it's just a second of the 2 friendlies that the Black Stars have been tasked with this international window. We saw the team play against Brazil last weekend. It wasn't so much of a convincing performance, especially in the first half, because that was the half we conceded all 3 goals. The second half was a much better improvement. We saw Inaki Williams, Tariq Lamptey all make their debut for the Black Stars. Mohamed Salisu as well, who was impressive on that day.
Yeah.
So hopefully we are hoping that today we get a better shine. Reports coming from Spain indicates that Tariq Lamptey, Alexander Jiku, Kamaldeen may not be able to play because they are nursing injuries. Not serious injuries though, could be a knock, but then
so they are being cautious.
Yeah, for precautionary measure.
I think they all have games at the weekend for their respective
club football.
clubs.
Club football resumes over the weekend, so you don't want to risk players going into the weekend. However, we could see some changes to the lineup that played against Brazil on Friday. Inaki Williams could be in the starting lineup. We could also see Kofi Tre. You know one thing, Kofi Tre is that player that some Ghanaians or most Ghanaians feel he should be starting games for the Black Stars.
Yes.
Because since making his debut and then getting onto the scene, he's churned out some good performances. It's about striking the balance between your 2 number 10s, Mohamed Kudus and then Kofi Tre, because people feel I don't think they are similar. We could find our way of fixing those 2 in a lineup, and then we will be fine.
Kofi Tre can play on the right flank, can't he? Because I've seen
even as an 8 or as a 10, he's good to go, or as a supporting striker. So it depends on how we use those players, Kudus and then Tre.
Okay.
The game against Nicaragua is important for the Black Stars players because you know when you go into such games, you feel they are easy oppositions. They are not as highly ranked as Brazil. So you feel they are cool chops, but there are no cool chops in football. You need to turn out your maximum best because you are playing for a place at the World Cup. Yesterday we saw some comments from the captain of the side saying some players, no one is guaranteed a place at the World Cup. It is this case. You have to play to earn a place to Ado's squad. If you don't play well, you are not going to Qatar. That is the message. Forget the fact that you are playing Nicaragua. Put up your best performances. This is not a game that even if we should win, Ghanaians should conclude that the team is better. No. We are building something. we need to identify the pattern of play. That is the most important thing. It's not about, I always say to myself, it's not about the score line. It's not about how much goals you score or you concede. We should see some signs that we are playing football.
Okay.
Some signs that the team is ready and are gelling together. If we are able to see that, probably we give ourselves the case of good performances going to the World Cup. We have one more friendly game to play before we start the main competition. So against Switzerland. Which is in November. So the Black Stars...
The friendly against Switzerland?
That's some days to the World Cup.
Okay.
So the next international break. I thought this game is quite a good one. It has come at the right time, the time where we are looking to put behind the performance against Brazil. So if you're able to play well, at least we see patterns that the team could be in good shape.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Lawrence. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of News Desk. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace to enjoy the rest of our programs. Good morning.